Good morning. It has been quite some time since I've been live, and I used to go live every Thursday, so it is only right that I go live today on a Thursday to really talk about how I overcame depression and how you can too. So before we begin, if any of you are interested, I have made my self-healing journal, which is tools for self-healing and a practice guide every day for the next 365 days to support you in mental health and emotional well-being. So they come in purple and black, and I really love these. This is based off my own practice, my own self-healing journey over the last decade, and really what I come back to every single day. And you'll see the inside is just one day, one entry, and really guides you through self-healing. So if you're interested, let me know and I will send you the details for my self-healing journal, which is amazing. Anyway, so if you are new to me, my name is Antonina. I have been self-healing on my own journey for the last decade, alongside of coaching others in their own self-healing journey. And what I realized through coaching other people is that most people deal with emotional trauma. At least the people that I communicate with deal with emotional trauma when it comes to their family, when it comes to their upbringing, when it comes to their lineage generationally. And what depression really is repressed energy. So energy that we've internalized, that we stuff down, that really weighs on us psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. And through helping others, through coaching others, and through really, especially in the last couple years of really prioritizing my own self-healing, I was able to overcome what was really decades, and really since I was a child, a deep sense of depression. And I don't carry that with me anymore. And so I feel like it's my duty and my responsibility and my mission that, trust me, I want to many times just carry on with my own journey of self-healing. Like, I've been able to overcome depression and codependency and emotional trauma that no one else has helped me with. I used to be in therapy 3 days a week, talking about the trauma and the drama and my depression and what was causing this, until I had a spiritual revelation where talking about the trauma and the drama and the things that are depressing me was only keeping me locked into that energy. And so really it was in a therapy call, where I was, not wanting to be here. And my therapist was more concerned of whether I'm going to do it or not do it, or rather than what got me to this point and how I could get out of it. And through spiritual revelation, I realized, thank you, Lord, during that experience, that this was not the way. Spending 3 days in therapy, putting all of my energy into talking about the things that were paining me, depressing me, traumatizing me, hurting me, was not going to help me. And also, I knew that taking traditional routes of therapy and medication, which was just numbing the feelings, was not going to heal me. So modern approach now is therapy and meds. But for me, that is not the way. So if that is your experience, you probably don't want to listen to this. You probably want to carry on with what seems to be working for you. But drugs and being in therapy 3 days a week was not the way. Numbing my feelings and still dealing with the same reality in the same way was not the way. So, in that experience, really creating separation and boundaries around the things that were depressing me was the first and foremost, the main thing. So for me, it was my family dynamic, toxic relationships. So I had to create a boundary, a hard no, a hard stop between my family and I. It didn't have to be forever, but it needs to be long enough for me to start to think for myself, feel for myself, navigate, choose, take action for myself without needing their input, which was the thing that was depressing me. their feelings, their thoughts, their opinions, how they showed up. Same thing with toxic relationships. Instead of recognizing where this was not working for me, I was giving my family, I was giving other people the power, and I was giving them my energy instead of recognizing that this was not working for me. This was not supportive for me. This was not aligned for me. So instead of wondering why my family didn't support me in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years of doing my work or my business, they never acknowledged what I was doing, never acknowledged the good in me as a human being. They could never, everything was manipulated in a false light, in negativity. And what they were doing was really projecting their own dysfunction onto me. And I was internalizing that and making it about me instead of saying, this is not right. And I choose to separate myself, and I choose to create boundaries around this experience. Same thing for relationships. This relationship is not aligned with me, so instead of going back and forth, trying to get these people to see or align with me or empathize with me or care, realizing that they don't, and setting the boundary. And so that really liberated me then from being responsible for how other people show up and starting to recognize my internal world. What was I thinking? How was I feeling? What was I doing? So instead of internalizing also the good and stuffing that down, depressing the good because you didn't see it, so I couldn't see it, I separated myself from that which was not aligned with me, and then also started to acknowledge what was good, what was working, who I actually am in terms of a person, and knowing myself. And then ultimately, instead of caring what another single person thinks about me on this planet, it was directing my attention to what the Lord, what my God thinks about me on this planet. So not what family and humans think about me, but what does my God, my Lord think about me? So if you can see all of these steps that I took to overcome my depression and the things that were depressing me, draining me, taking my life force energy, and it was fueling them, but it was hurting me. All of it was about creating agency for myself, creating autonomy, starting to take my energy out, my attention from these people, and starting to put it back on myself. Okay? This is where we start self-healing. This is why I created the self-healing journal. So instead of starting my day wondering what everyone else wants, needs, thinks, what society, what the people around me, what people on social media think, was what do I think and feel? What do I need? So if you come from this realm and you have been experiencing depression, most likely you're not prioritizing yourself, your inner world, and your true needs. And learning to do that is ultimately how we take our power back. Yes, is self-healing challenging? Yes, when you're facing those feelings, when you're presented with accepting and embracing and acknowledging what it is you feel, that can be uncomfortable. So normally we go to family, or we go to friends, or we go to our therapist, this is how I'm feeling. And your power doesn't lie in them validating you. Your power lies in you validating your emotions, you acknowledging and honoring yourself. This is the first step in the self-healing method. So this self-healing method that I have created has been made known to me by paying attention to my own process. So the first step in self-healing is honoring yourself, acknowledging what you feel, acknowledging the fullness of your emotions, or maybe the limiting sense of feelings that you do have because it wasn't safe to feel, whether it's depressed, angry, rightfully, or even good, positive, uplifting, joyful, powerful, accomplished emotions. All of those have been stifled. So really starting to validate, acknowledge and validate your feelings. Doesn't matter what form or what end of the emotional spectrum. I'm not talking about spectrum, what you're thinking. I'm talking about the emotional spectrum from positive emotion to negative emotion. Learning to experience what it is you feel and not internalize it, but really embrace it. Really, it doesn't matter if it's difficult, yes, but we are not our emotions. We're learning to acknowledge our emotions, honor our emotions, but we are not them. Can we acknowledge ourselves and what we feel? And that's where the self-healing practice is. Today, this is what I'm feeling. I'm going to work with what I'm feeling. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It has to be transmuted. So we got to work with what we're feeling. And we do this in 6 weeks of self-healing in the self-healing method, which starts October 12th. I have healed more in the last year and a half by setting boundaries with the things that are not aligned with me. Really prioritizing myself, what it is I feel, what it is I think, what it is I need, what it is my mission. Because I was on the opposite side of the scale, where I always prioritized what other people thought, what other people felt, what other people think, what other people want. And that brought me into an energy of codependency. And so, yes, coming into balance is important with that, to be able to empathize with others around their own experience, but not empathize with other people with what they think or feel about you. That is none of their business. That is their projection onto you. Okay, so we want to set boundaries with that. And then starting to recognize and cultivate relationship with your higher power. The source energy within you, the reason you're alive, the reason you exist, the reason you have life in you, breath in your lungs. There is a God, there is the Lord, there is a higher power, there is the universe, and really putting your attention on cultivating in stillness, in silence, a relationship with you and your higher power, to listen to that guidance, to listen to what you're being called to do. Even if people in your life, your family, don't agree, what are you being called to do internally in your own life? And starting to move on that. So I gave people way too much power over my experience of myself. And now I do not do that at all. Do I have experiences where I'm dealing with people that create some sort of negative emotion in me? Yes, and now I acknowledge it. I separate myself from that person. I do the inner work to navigate my emotions. I do not project it back onto them, but I ask myself, is this in alignment with me or not? And if it's not, I set the boundary and I move on. And again, I prioritize myself, my inner work, and I take action accordingly, and I connect with the Lord. This is where the power lies. This is how we can heal miraculously, how we can overcome decades of depression. So yes, we do want to make sure that we are doing the healing work, using healing tools, navigating our emotions, our thinking, our actions daily. But also, we're not going to rely just on ourselves. We're going to give it up to the Lord and ask the Lord with help around these experiences. But how, through this practice, we can develop self-awareness, we can articulate what it is that we're feeling, and we can give it up to God to navigate. Help me with this experience. Okay? So I don't give my therapist or my family or random strangers my emotional power anymore. That is my energy. That is my currency. That is up to me to navigate. So most people in this world are giving their power and their energy to their family, to other people, to relationships, to, anyone else besides themselves and the Lord. And that is a tough space to be in. You go to the doctor, you go to your therapist, like, hey, I'm depressed. Hey, I don't know if I want to be here anymore. Hey, I'm going through this difficult time. And you keep going back to the thing that's paining you, that's challenging you, that's causing suffering for you or trauma. You don't want to go back to that thing. You want to learn to release that thing, to let that thing go, and to create solid boundaries. If it's trauma from childhood, the people that created the trauma, you don't want to go back to those things. We got to exercise our sovereignty and our freedom on this planet to learn how to have agency over our own selves, our own life, so we can be free, okay? Free of internalizing and repressing what it is we feel. And we want to start expressing that outwardly and acknowledging what's within us every single day, okay? So recognizing your value, recognizing your currency, your energy, your emotions, they are not for everyone. Very few people get my emotions and my true feelings these days. I thought before giving people my truth, my feelings, on my content, you'll realize I share exactly what I'm called to. I don't share anything about my personal life, my private life. I don't share anything. That's nobody's business. I'm not sharing any journey. What I eat, what I do, that's my business. I come on here to share exactly what I'm called to do, and I wrap it up. And that's it. And so really recognizing your own power, your own sovereignty, and committing to your own self-healing every single day. And really putting yourself first. This is why I created my self-healing journal as a daily practice for your own self-healing. So whether it's how you start your day, whether it's how you end your day, but recognizing that you are the most important thing in your life. And the acknowledgement that you're seeking isn't going to come from anyone else. The acknowledgement that you're seeking is going to come from yourself and the Lord. And really understanding that the first step in your self-healing is acknowledging and validating what it is that you feel, and not giving your power to anyone else to acknowledge and validate what it is you feel, but you acknowledging and validating your own feelings, your own experience, your own desires, your own needs, whether met or unmet, and accepting it. So more healing has happened in the last year and a half because I've gotten bold in my own self-healing journey, and I know the value of my emotions. I know the value of my love. I know the value of my care. So if someone doesn't respect it, appreciate it, care about it, then it's immediate no, and it's immediate boundary. Versus before, I lowered my energy. I thought it was about me. I internalized it, and I would do that with friends, family, people I didn't even know. And that would hurt me. And then go to therapy like 3 days a week being sad about how people showed up or didn't show up. It's like my dad or my mom, or I know my truth and my beliefs about them. Do I want to show up as a mother or father like that? Absolutely not. I show up differently how I want to serve and support and be there for my daughter in a way that honors her. That's the difference. So I don't make how my father showed up for me, or how my mom, where I know how they actually feel and their actions reflect that. I don't want to fix or change them or control them or get them to show up for me the way I would love them to. They've already showed me they can't. So I just remove myself. You don't want to have the best relationship that you could have with me, like I see with my daughter, and work on being a better mom every day to my kid, then instead of allowing that to make me suffer, I remove my relationship, my access, my energy. I don't care. You don't care. I don't care either. And I do the actual inner work where I did care, where it did affect me. But now, why would I want to keep giving my energy to people, to things, to strangers who don't value me? I wouldn't. My cutoff game is strong. My communication is good. I will show up for people. My word matters. If people need support, I will help them to the point of healing their own trauma and being able to navigate hard, challenging situations with them, knowing that they're supported, knowing that not just by me, but through their own self-healing, through their own higher power, and guiding them to connect authentically with themselves, to show up exactly as they desire for themselves, not waiting for someone to choose you, to show up for you, to acknowledge you, to validate you, to celebrate you. You do that for you. And when that becomes the standard, you wouldn't let anyone else devalue you or not champion you, not celebrate you, not align with you. So really coming back full circle into your own sovereignty, in your own empowerment, into your own self-value around the importance of self-healing in your life. If I was on drugs and medication to numb what I was feeling, I would have stayed stuck in the codependency, stayed stuck in those toxic relationships, and instead releasing that. My path was not taking medication, was not going to therapy 3 days a week anymore. That was keeping me stuck in the suffering. It was actually prioritizing myself and my self-healing practice and my own inner work every single day so that I can become the person that I'm made to be. And I want that for you. Not waiting for someone to acknowledge you, to validate you, to support you, to whether it's validating your challenging and painful emotions, or whether it's valuing your accomplishments, your success, the good qualities in you. You get to do that for you. So if this is the first time, you get to do that for yourself today. And you're taking a step forward and setting the tone for your own experience, for your own value, for your own life, for showing up for you. And like energy attracts like. And so if that's the only standard, sometimes at first when you take the step out and then into a new territory, it might just be you. And you have to understand that I'm going to go first. I'm going to be there for me when I'm sad. I'm going to be there for me when I'm successful, when I'm accomplished, when I do new things, when I take action on my dreams. It's really learning to befriend ourselves, to like ourselves, to love ourselves, and to heal whatever is coming up within us that needs to be acknowledged, that needs to be integrated. Whether it's from the past, whether it's something you're experiencing now, or something that you anticipate in your mind based off the past and projecting that onto the future. So, the self-healing method that I have learned over the last decade and really solidified in the last year from my own self-healing. So no longer helping others, but really committing to my own self-healing journey, is how I actually let go of the depression. So it's been an honor. So I've been guiding people in the self-healing method for over 5 years. And I want to invite you to self-heal, to overcome emotional trauma, overwhelming emotions from toxic family, from dysfunctional family, from generations, and starting to rise above into your own sovereignty, into your own power, to express your true self at any given phase of your life. So the self-healing method isn't just something you do once. It's like you don't just go to the gym once and work out. It's something you keep revisiting. It's a way of life in my own experience, where I'm really learning to acknowledge and validate myself. Okay, so honoring yourself and accepting yourself, this is the first phase of self-healing. This is part of awakening. And I would love to teach you the self-healing method and guide you so that you have the tools to transform your life and how you feel and how you show up by doing the inner work. And how does that impact how you show up in the world, how you experience people, your relationships, your finances, how you live boldly in your life? This is the power of self-healing. And I would love to invite you to the self-healing method. It is a 6-week group coaching program that I have led for the last 5 years that is now revamped better than ever. Same method, but so clear, so concise that you learn this and you just know, am I going down the toxic path or am I going down the healing path? That's something we go right into when you join the self-healing method. You will learn the difference. You will start to recognize the two. So in the beginning, the toxic path is invalidating and not acknowledging yourself and internalizing. That's not honoring yourself. Honoring yourself is validating, acknowledging. We want to develop awareness around what is real for us, not what everyone else thinks, what is real for us, for you. Okay? And I would love to guide you through the entire self-healing method. So I've had clients that heal decades of trauma in a year from doing this program. So this is a program you learn and you keep applying. You keep applying this to your life, okay? And you just keep getting better. I'm telling you, this will always be a part of my life. And so I'm very fortunate to be able to have resources, to create resources that people could go right now on Amazon and you could start your self-healing practice. Whether or not you join the self-healing method, you can start self-healing. Here, you'll see there's 9 self-healing tools. There's the entry to guide your self-healing practice. I mean, I'm making it really easy for people to go on their own way, to go on your own path, to align with your own healing and well-being and your higher power. So I wish I had the support then, but I have myself. I have myself. And this is the work that I've been called to do on me, and that's how I can guide others. So I want to share with you that there is a way, there is a path. You don't have to spend decades in therapy. You can actually spend the next 6 weeks self-healing and catapult yourself into a whole new reality, a whole new sense of self, a whole new way of life. Not by changing anyone else or anything else, but by changing and transforming yourself. Okay? If you have any questions around the self-healing method that starts October 12th, I'd love to answer them. To connect more, you can go on our website, lifewellmade.com, and you could see information about the program, the self-healing method. You can also book a call with me to really envision what that is and where you need the most self-healing right now, and to really focus on that over the next 6 weeks so that you can open up into a whole new reality, into expansion. So right before the expansion is the contraction, is the resistance, but you don't have to run. You can lean in and you can evolve, okay? And if you are interested in my self-healing journal, you can also click the link in my profile and you will see links for these 2 journals, both in black and purple, sold on Amazon. So let me know what resonated with you the most, and I'd be happy to journey with you for the next 6 weeks in self-healing. Okay? And love to teach you the self-healing method. Bless you and have a wonderful, wonderful day.